Hello, Magic Universe. I'm Covert Go. I'm also Dan. You can call me Dan, I don't care. But most of you know me as Covert Go Blue. My website is Haunted Flower Duels blog, and you can come read all the things I just write about Magic Duels. But I make videos too, and that's why I'm here today. That's what I'm up to, and what I've been doing lately, my little project, has been to create. There's a tournament going on, organized on No Goblins Allowed, called the Steam Showdown, and I've been putting together the decks that have been used in the Steam Showdown and taking them for test drives and seeing how they do. I love to try decks that, other people took to tournaments, that other people really believed in and wanted to play with, and this is a way that I can do that in the Duels universe. I'm a huge Magic coverage fan. I love watching SCG Opens, Pro Tours. Format doesn't really matter, although Limited can be hard to watch if you haven't memorized all the card names and abilities and the whole set. But constructed formats definitely. It's my favorite thing to do every weekend. If I get a choice, if I could do anything, I want to sit around and watch a Pro Tour with a whole bunch of snacks, a whole bunch of soda, just veg out. It's like my Super Bowl, but every weekend. So, I love watching coverage. I love building the decks I see in coverage and testing them out and trying to see how it all works. And now I can do that in Duels because we've got the Steam Showdown with footage that you can watch and decks that I can play. So, what are we going to build today? We're going to build a deck by somebody I'm a fan of because I think they're a fan of mine. And I don't know how to say his name. Deusxophc, DEUSX_OPHC. And I hope he corrects me when he sees this video. But the reason I'm a big fan is because he actually retweets my stuff. And I don't know anybody who retweets my stuff. Just him. Him and Hakeem. And Hakeem because I bribe him. Well, I don't bribe him. I ask for a favor. He's a nice guy. But I didn't even ask this dude. And he likes and retweets my tweets. Gives me that warm, fuzzy feeling of being important that I think Twitter is supposed to create. But he registered an interesting deck. It's a Sphinx's Tutelage control-ish build, and it is I'm not going to say weird, it's different. I haven't really seen a Turbo Fog Tutelage deck like this anywhere, ever. Have not seen this, and I'm really excited. I'm excited to try it out. Interesting that he runs black, but the only black cards he runs are double black, and that would be Ob and Languish. Double black. Green. Let's get into the green. Here's the other thing. I'm used to these kind of decks being fog decks. He only runs 2 fog. That's all he thinks he needs. And it may make sense. The format's slow. He must be thinking about ramp. And here's the other thing that he runs in his fog deck that I've never seen. He runs Acid Moss. So it's some kind of a ramp fog thing. It's interesting. I'm really excited to see what it does. Yeah, we're just putting Acid Moss in any deck these days. Just put in all the decks. Put in the control decks. I put in my Elf aggro deck. Now we're putting it in the Sphinx's Tutelage deck. Is nothing sacred. And 23 land? That or he's got more than 60 cards. Let's find out. Hard for me to imagine running 23 land. Everything I've ever found in these kind of Sultai Tutelage decks has said to me that you can't miss land drops. It's just bad for business. And Canopy Vista, Cinderglade. So he's using Acid Moss to also unlock and open up the mana fixing of Canopy Vista and Cinderglade to pull off a full converge on Brilliant Spectrum. It's interesting. I think this deck needs more dual lands. I think we need Evolving Wilds. Just off the cuff, I'm like, this is a low dual land count. I mean, why not run some Woodland Cemetery, some hinterland harbor. That would be really easy to do. You definitely have enough forests. You have enough basics to make hinterland harbor and woodland cemetery come into play tapped. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. And the 23 lands. Hard to get behind that. Remember, our only black spells are double blacks, so we have to assemble double black. And we only have 9 black sources, and we can't fetch those with acid moss. 9 black sources. I do not like your mana base. I think your mana base is a suicide mana base. But this isn't about changing their decks, although I'll make some suggestions here and there. This is about playing the decks. So let's see what happens. I am getting invited to parties. That's adorable. I'm on Twitch. I'm not partying. I'm not partying. I can't party, guys. I can't do it. I can't party. You gotta send me some Xbox Live messages and tell these folks. Streaming. Everybody wants to party with CGB. I'm not that good of a partier. I'm like so lame at parties. Ask everyone who knew me in high school. Who is the other person who invited me? Do I even know this person? What the heck is going on? I don't know this other person who even invited me. I don't know how to respond to that. How many of you just go around inviting people to parties on Xbox? Like, who does this? I mean, maybe, I'm sure he's heard of me, my blog, or NGA or something. Maybe he watches the tournament, but come on now, you gotta take me out to dinner first, you know? You gotta take me to a movie. Don't just throw me into your party, jeez. I'm not that easy. I'm not that social. Alright, why is this game taking so long to queue up? Are we gonna have a lagathon? We're gonna get all lagged up. I smell a game that's gonna crash, or we're gonna be against the AI as soon as it starts. What's so hard about getting an opponent? Oh man, it's a 40 rank too. Might have been a really good match. I don't know about y'all out there and the rest of the if you're on, I'm on Xbox here. If you're on Steam or iOS, I don't know how it is for you. For me, just getting to play like against another rank 40 with a 60 card deck is like, it's very exciting. The matchmaking just doesn't work well. You do not often get to play against opponents of a similar rank to you. I usually, like I spent all last night, I was up really late and I was playing against rank 4, rank 2, people without the unlocked collections, and you know, if you like winning mindlessly, that's great. If you really want to figure out if your deck's good or, you know, learn about the format, it's not so good, and we're trying to learn. We're here to win, but we're here to do it the right way. That's what we're here to do. We don't want to win just because our opponent doesn't have all the cards unlocked. We want to win because we built a good deck. Because we know how the format works. Because we know what good cards look like. Speaking of what good cards look like, Brilliant Spectrum. I have been so hot and so cold on this card. I keep going back and forth. I have had so many games where I'll have like 2 or sometimes even 3 of them in my hand, but I don't have the time to cast them. I don't have the time to cast them. Why? Because I'm getting my butt beat down by these creatures. And, yeah, it's been a kind of a awkward card to have around. Now, this is the mana efficient play right here. To fire that off, draw 2 cards, and try to get closer to lands. Telling Time gets us 4 cards deep to find a land, but it's not mana efficient. And if we save it till next turn and we hit an island, we can also play Jace the same turn, so we're gonna do that. That's the plan, and since he's green, I'm not afraid of him countering this somehow, so we're not going to main phase or anything, then we'd have to discard. And he's gonna get wild-sized. Yeah, getting my butt beat down. How am I supposed to Brilliant Spectrum when I'm getting my butt kicked so hard? Let's go find a Languish, shall we? Because our opponent's going mono green beats. Okay, there you go. You know, I really considered using Vile. Now I'm glad I didn't, because we would have taken a crap ton of damage anyway, but he is just piling in. Do we have life gain in this deck? I don't think we even have life gain in the deck. I don't know how we're going to fog forever in this situation. Alright, my options are... Visionary can block. Telling Time can dig. That's probably the right line. Jace doesn't do anything right now. Another Vile is dead weight. Brilliant Spectrum does nothing to the board. See what I was saying about this card? It's really not that good a card. It's just there aren't many ways to dig 4 in this format. Get 4 fresh ones off the top. In this case, we're mostly doing 3 fresh ones off the top, which also isn't nearly as good. I'm tempted to deploy Jace anyway, so I don't have to discard. But that doesn't dig. We need to dig. Well, if Jace lives, Jace gets to dig. Am I going to block both these creatures knowing how many pump spells my opponent has? I guess we make him have the land. He fetched with Nissa, so it's really likely he has it. Pump, pump, Primal Bellow, he fired that off. So I really think I've got to play around pump spells, so that means I got to cast another blocker. I think I have to. The way he fires them off, you know, some new players just do that, but it also suggests he has more. Oh, tapping mana main phase. That's interesting. What do you think? Do we have another Primal Bellow? Am I willing to risk another Primal Bellow? Another Primal Bellow just ends the game. If I live, do things get a lot better? I don't think so. So if he has it, I don't think I can beat it anyway unless there's a Languish on top of my deck. If he has it, he has it. I'll lose to it. That's life. Yep, there it is. So, first impressions of this deck, it is slow. And doesn't have a lot of removal, and has weird mana, although our mana wasn't the problem that game. But, I mean, we had a handful of cards that draw cards, and, like, no interaction with our opponent whatsoever. So that was a steamrolling. Let's try again. That was pretty bad. I think I gave this deck a B. To be frank, I didn't know how to grade it. Just looking at it, it's so different from like any tutelage deck I've played. And obviously the key matchup is Moss. Other Acid Moss decks, other ramp decks, which I don't know if we'll get to see one or not. There aren't that many. I really don't get paired against them that often on Xbox. Like I said, it's a miracle if I even get paired against somebody who has all the cards unlocked. So we'll see if that happens. But man, that was an ugly game. Ugly. Alright, let's see what this chick's doing in the swamp. This red-haired, kinda interesting, crazy jewelry wearing gypsy. Def Trend. Yep, now there's a rank 4. That's what I'm used to. Sure we'll be fine. And yeah, I think this is fine. Hello, Gabos. So now maybe we'll just get red aggroed to death. Yep. Hopefully the top of our deck has something interesting. Swamp Languish, perhaps. We do have 2 Spell Shrivels. It's gonna be hard for us to get just completely run out of the gym. And it looks like we got some Rakdos, so maybe it's not the pure red aggro. If he does nothing this turn, we're actually alright. You know, 20 turn clock and all. Alright. I choose you and you. Come live with me in my hand. And we're gonna need to find, I guess, a green source if we're gonna Brilliant Spectrum. So maybe I should have kept the other Canopy Vista. Guess I should have looked at my hand a lot closer. Got a little confused by the off-color duels. You got me. Alrighty. We're just gonna hold up the Shrivs. I am trying to pass the turn. Thank you. It's been so much lag on my system lately. I've had a really laggy game connection the last 2 days, where I hit buttons, nothing happens. I pause timers, nothing happens. It's pretty frustrating. Throws you off your game sometimes. Here comes the Arsonist Pain. You know what I'd like to draw? Sphinx's Tutelage. Haven't seen it yet. It's kind of the whole point of the deck as far as I can tell. Alright, need another green. I wonder how many green sources we actually have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? I mean, I think it's 9, which is way too few. Gotta have 14, preferably 16 if you're gonna play spells with double green in them on turn 4. I think the mana base is way off. That's the first thing I'd have to fix with this deck. Our opponent is set on the do nothing whatsoever plan. No problem with that. I can do nothing like the best of them. No, that's a good do nothing because he can turn it into critters. Maybe rightly expects spell shrivel, and he's just playing lands, not casting spells. Still, kind of plays into our hands. How about a green? You're not green. I guess I could Spectrum. I really want to hold out for one more green source and be able to Spectrum for 4. So I'm going to do that. The plan is Shrivels and Epiphanies this turn. You gonna make some dudes? Yeah, he's gonna make dudes. I'd make dudes. Dudes are cool. Well, you know, these little Thopter dudes. Prah. So, second game in, didn't Acid Moss in the first game. Didn't really have mana problems, just didn't have any cards that did anything about creatures whatsoever. And the deck is light on them, so that's not shocking. That's not surprising to me that we had that draw. Oh my goodness. So now I think we just Spectrum for the 3. And try to set our hand up better than it is right now, because this is a mess. Okay. There's our other green. And I guess I could Languish him? Let's down Shrivel, and I have like nothing to do if he resolves something. But I do only have 2 turns to Ulamog, and I have this to get me there. So we'll do it, but I mean, it's really bad. It's not good. Now let's see if he has a good follow-up for my tapped out board state, since I have a deck full of sorceries. Yeah, that's a good one. Now, do I... Oh, that kills a creature. I was going to say, do I have a way in my deck to just kill something? Yeah, I do. I do have that. That's that CGB luck, guys. That's called drawing like a boss. I think I'm going to Acid Moss because I don't want him to be able to just Blighted Gorge kill Ob. I want to make him do something else in order to kill it, and it sets up Ulamog for next turn. So I give up on Spell Shrivel, but he's played around it this whole time anyway. And I'm not going to worry about the Blighted Gorge. I'm going to take out a dual land instead, because I really don't mind him activating it. I just don't want him activating it now. It's like 6 mana to use your Blighted Gorge. I'm not that worried about 2 damage. That's a good use of a turn, if you ask me. Go ahead. He is Mr. Gates. Hello, Mr. Gates. How is your word? And your excel at stuff. What's it gonna be? 4 mana, and you can do anything you want to. It's gonna be another Hellhound. Yep. Draw me that card. Play this monster. We have the Alchemist Vial if he has Active Treason, so that's the reasoning. You wouldn't want to tap out for it. Active Treason is very freaking likely. You know you want to. Congratulations! You stole Ulamog. Thank you, I know. Still no Sphinxi Tutelage, but I suppose we'll just win with Big Mog himself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you and hold up you, I think. Yep, that's not happening. Sorry. Guess you're dead. Active Treasons and Flesh Bags and all that, you know, doesn't really negate Ulamog. He's already good even if you kill him. And if you steal him, Alchemist Vial, he's got my back. Cards like Disperse and other things like that can have your back. So, no big deal there. Let's see this pile, since our opponent left the game. Not really bad manners to pause him right here and check out his deck. Yeah, okay. Yeah, probably not a full collection, or else a lot of those cards, you know, could be different. Boom. Eldrazi Smash. So, even in a deck that's supposed to be about Sphinx's Tutelage, we ended up playing an Acid Moss Ulamog game. Psha! Just shows you how extreme those strategies have become. You just put them in any deck that goes long. Okay, go and get our third game. See how it goes. Then probably cut the stream and maybe we'll start a different deck. Start it up with a different deck, or we'll just build it and roll right in. We'll see. Yeah, gotta get an opponent. Gotta have it. I did not sleep last night. I played Magic way too late. I just have a lot of things going right now that I wouldn't say are going well. They're all kind of in limbo. Work, the business, new styles. There's not a lot of big movies this year, only a handful, so it feels weird that we don't have as much work to do as I'd like. And, you know, getting the store ready for Dawn of Justice and Civil War, those big movie events. But I don't know how huge those will be. Obviously, we're coming off like one of the biggest box office years ever with Star Wars and everything else that happened. Avengers 2, Jurassic World, like definitely one of the best ever. And it's going to be a weird year. So, don't feel great about work. Don't feel great about Magic. I really need that new set to come out and kind of breathe some life into this, because anything new that I do, I end up deleting, just saying, I've done this already, and I know it's not going to beat Ramp and Red Aggro, so there's not a lot of point. So definitely need a new set. Really think the game is about as stale as a stale game gets. And I'm glad we've got things like the Steam Showdown to watch to kind of keep me into it, but Lord Almighty, would it be nice to have some new cards? I think so. I'm sure you guys are ready for them. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir. Whatever Oath and Shadows cards we get, they're already starting to spoil the Shadows cards and tell us what's coming out in Shadows over in Innistrad, and I think that's so crazy since we don't have Oath on duels, which is where I play most of my Magic. I do play paper Magic, but only once a week, and not very seriously. I mean, I take it seriously. Once a week I go play F&M, or on Saturdays I'll go to like a 1K prize pool or something like that, and I'll play really hard, and I do well. I'm really happy with how I do in paper Magic, but I'm not willing to travel, and I'm not willing to deal with crowds anymore. I'm becoming an old man, and I don't want to leave my house unless I'm forced to. Okay, so seems like we're up against Thopters. Seems like turn 4 is the turn where they start spiking Whirler Rogues and such. It is really tempting to play this Tutelage, though. But I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm supposed to. I think with a Tutelage deck, you just jam it. In this spot, I have Languish, so I guess he can't punish me abysmally. But I'm also casting it into Spell Shrivel Mana, which we could be facing some kind of blue-red control deck. But I'm going to jam it, because even if he has a counter, I want him to use it on that and not my other threats. Yep, let's go. Let's do this. Boom. Sticks. And blue-red doesn't really have a way to get rid of it other than bouncing it. And, of course, Ulamog. Everybody gets Ulamog. Yeah, there you go. Get that network. That's, definitely not a card I wanted to sneak through my defenses. So let's start the milling. May the milling commence. Alright, so what am I up against? I'm up against a horrible Thopters deck, I think. That, or somebody loves cards like Barrage Ogre and Guardians of Meletus. I'm up against... Let me try a different phrasing, because it sounds too negative. Or more negative than I prefer to be. I'm up against a very alternative Thopters build. Oh, man. I really need the lands. I want to get to the Mog. Oblivion Sower helps me in that regard too, so I can discard one of these. I think it can be this one. But I think I'm actually going to toss Spell Shrivel, because I plan to tap out for the next several turns. And I'm going to deal with his with the board via Languish and not via countering anything at this point. Yeah, go baby go. Mill baby mill. Sarah Palin would be proud. Yep, still I mean, pretty alternative Thopters deck. Horribly awry. Good to know. Alright, you oddly alternative deck. Now we've got a Disciple of the Ring. I'm actually happy to see you. You shall eat my languish. Sounds really nasty. Ooh. Can I take a hit first? No, that graveyard is way too juicy. If he untaps with that graveyard, you can do all kinds of gross stuff with Disciple of the Ring. So, yeah, this is the only realistic play this turn. And it keeps him from drawing a card with his Thopter Spy Network. Next turn. And yeah, a very alternative. I haven't unlocked my full collection version of Thopters. I would agree that this is another collection that needs to be unlocked. Sorry, you're taking on a tryhard today. This is what happens. It didn't cast anything. And it does seem like, well, I saw Horribly Awry, but is there anything else in here like that? I don't see any other counters. Doesn't mean they're not there. So let's get our 4th land down for Spell Shrivel and cast this Tutelage. Now you have been double tooted. How do you like that? Hopefully we can draw into another Brilliant Spectrum and fire that off. Double Blighted Gorge. But our life total has a long way to go. In general, it's gonna be hard to lose without totally bricking out or without him casting something amazing. Twin Bolt. Yeah. Bam. You sure showed me. Now let's draw more cards. No artifact. Gotta discard. It's tempting to just discard Ulamog. I don't know if I'll need him. But I think I will choose... I think Visionary does the absolute least. We want to keep hitting land drops, and we want Languish backup. I know it's a tutelage trigger, but we can do better. Most of these these cards here are better than a tutelage trigger, and hitting land is still important. Bam. Ah, there we go. Alright, well, I hope he has a counterspell. We're going to play our land early again so we can resolve this through a Spell Shrivel. But this should be all she wrote. So now I am going to discard you and you, because I don't think I'll ever cast you. Or, no I won't. Yeah, why not? Did our opponent concede while I was picking? Wouldn't blame him. Dun dun dun! Let's mill cards. Yep. Goodbye. See ya. Let's look at this Thopter's alternative unlocked version, or still locked version. Well, we got the Chiefs, and we got the Spy Networks. Those are some of the key cards, but then we've just got a lot of odd filler, you know, Barrage Ogre. I don't think Tutelage was ever meant to be in a Thopter deck. Horribly Awry. It's not that bad, actually, Claustrophobia, but we do what we can with what we have. Ba-boom. Alright, cool. I'm going to put the kibosh on this video. I'll send it YouTube way. This is me testing the Sultai Mill deck from the Steam Showdown, and when I come back, I'll have a new one. So join me again in a few minutes.